The movie opens on a stormy night as an urgent phone call interrupts the peace at the home of our main character, Senior Police Inspector Jairaj. His colleague Pawan has chilling news: the body of the wealthy business personality Maya, who owned a proliferating empire of companies and had only passed away earlier that day, had mysteriously vanished. The news sends shockwaves through Jairaj, who understands the gravity of the situation. The missing body was supposed to be under autopsy at a state-of-the-art forensic laboratory in Port Louis. Battling the rain, Jairaj rushes to the laboratory. His first task is to question the sole available witness, a visibly panicked security guard who was on duty at the time of the incident. As his team investigates the night's CCTV footage, Jairaj is hit with the guard's horrifying account. According to him, Maya Verma's locker seemed to have been broken open from the inside, and he witnessed what he believes was the ghost departing via the elevator. The terrified guard pleads to be allowed to go home, but Jairaj, suspecting an inside job and a possible body theft, forbids him from leaving. Soon, Jairaj promptly orders a deeper investigation into the security guard's role and instructs the morgue's manager to maintain absolute secrecy about the incident, avoiding any media exposure. But the case twists further into a dark puzzle, with Jairaj discovering that the crucial CCTV footage from the night is inexplicably missing. In his pursuit of answers, Jairaj delves into Maya's personal life. He finds out that Maya had no immediate family, only a husband, Ajay. Ajay, a director at one of Maya's pharmaceutical laboratories and a part-time university professor, was the one who discovered Maya's body and reported her demise. Despite her death being ruled as a result of a heart attack, Jairaj can't shake off a nagging suspicion that Ajay might have a role in her death. Despite being born in modest circumstances, Ajay had climbed up the social ladder, eventually marrying one of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in India. Maya, though deeply in love with Ajay, would frequently make decisions that caused him distress. When Ajay's fear or anger reached a boiling point, Maya would laugh it off as a joke. She enjoyed maintaining control over Ajay, a fact that deeply upset him. But Ajay had his own secrets. In the shadows of his marriage, he was involved in an illicit affair, betraying Maya with a secret lover. One evening, Ajay receives an unexpected visit from his sister. She confesses to him her relief over Maya's death, highlighting how Maya often mistreated him. Her joy at Ajay's newfound freedom is palpable, but Ajay requests solitude, asking his sister to return home. The moment she leaves, Ajay rushes to his secret lover Ritu. Their meeting is emotional, with a comforting hug and a calming drink to soothe his nerves. However, their inmate moment is interrupted by a distressing phone call from the police, informing Ajay of his wife's body's disappearance. With his heart pounding, Ajay heads to the forensic laboratory, enraged at the police for their perceived carelessness. His anger stems from the fact that he and his family were waiting to perform the funeral rites for Maya's body. It's Jairaj who manages to calm him down, but not without raising questions about Ajay's whereabouts. The police couldn't find him at his home earlier. Ajay covers up his earlier meeting with Ritu, lying that he was at a 24-hour pharmacy seeking medication for his headache. In the solitude of his office, Jairaj questions Ajay, further probing into any possible enemies who might have a reason to harm them. Ajay appears confused, unable to comprehend who might want to steal a corpse. Despite Ajay's responses, Jairaj insists he remains at the station for further questioning, casting doubt on Ajay's earlier alibi, since there are no 24-hour pharmacies in the area. As Jairaj and his partner, Pawan, leave the room, Ajay's nerves spike. Ritu calls him and he swiftly updates her on the situation, asking her to dig up info on Jairaj, who he's starting to suspect. Meanwhile, Dr. Tanya, the forensic specialist originally tasked with Maya's autopsy, arrives at the lab. She shares her professional opinion with Jairaj, suggesting Maya's death might have been accidental. However, she also introduces the idea of catalepsy, a rare phenomenon where a person can appear to be dead and then come back to life. This hypothesis, however, doesn't align with Jairaj's belief that Maya was murdered and her body was stolen to prevent an autopsy. He suspects Ajay of this heinous act, especially since he noticed that Ajay showed little grief over his wife's death. His partner Pawan, however, criticized Jairaj for being too emotionally involved in cases dealing with death, a sensitivity he attributes to the unresolved trauma of Jairaj's wife. Nancy's death. Jairaj believes that Nancy's fatal car accident was not an accident at all, but a cold-blooded murder. As the hours stretch on, Ajay becomes relentless. He attempts to leave, claiming the hour is growing late, but the police detain him, stating he's still required for more questioning. Suddenly, a storm outside causes a power failure, plunging the lab into darkness. Amidst the chaos, Ajay stumbles upon a piece of clothing, a garment his wife planned to wear on the day of her demise. His shock deepens when he discovers a particular drug within Maya's personal belongings. The story takes a dark turn as it is revealed that Ajay's the real villain. He had plotted his wife's murder, cleverly using this drug, slipping it into her wine while she was indulging in a bath. The moment he spots Jairaj and Pawan approaching, he quickly hides the incriminating drug vial in his pocket. Jairaj instructs Pawan to inspect the box of Maya's belongings. To his surprise, he notices a cell phone missing from the collection. Ajay, trying to maintain his innocent skin, empties his pockets. But Jairaj, ever suspicious, insists on searching him. When he uncovers the hidden drug vial in Ajay's pocket, Ajay stutters out a weak excuse, claiming he found it on the floor. Feeling the heat of suspicion, Ajay excuses himself to the bathroom to call Ritu. She fills him in on Jairaj's personal problems, his battle with alcohol and his haunting visions of his deceased wife. She informs him that Jairaj was abandoned by his daughter and his previous work issues led to his current transfer. Ajay, increasingly paranoid, confesses to Ritu that he believes someone in the station is aware of his dark secret, a secret he thought only he and Ritu shared. Upon ending the call, Ajay hears a familiar melody, a song his wife used to adore. Following the sound, he discovers a speaker playing the tune, accompanied by a note reading, "Miss you, love." In a moment of panic, he crushes the speaker and flushes it down the toilet, but just as Pawan approaches, urging him to exit the restroom, Ajay realizes the note didn't follow the speaker down the drain. With no time to think, he retrieves the soggy note from the toilet and in a desperate move swallows it. In the meantime, outside the police station, Jairaj stumbles upon footprints that could belong to the body thief. To verify his theory, he requests Ajay's shoes for a comparison. With a hesitant nod, Ajay hands over his footwear. As expected, the shoe size matches the footprints perfectly, much to Jairaj's satisfaction. As he slips his shoes back on, Ajay's eyes fall on a piece of graffiti on the wall, a message eerily similar to a note his wife once wrote in the sand during a surprise beach car trip. A wave of shock washes over him. That memory was something only he and Maya shared. Ajay's then ushered back to Jairaj's office, where he receives a call from Ritu. She informs him of her intentions to tell the police that he was with her earlier, hoping to free him from the suspicions. After a brief heated discussion, Ajay manages to persuade her to stay away. It's then that he catches sight of his supposedly deceased wife passing by a window, leading him to a chilling realization Maya might be alive and aware of his horrific intentions all along. Fearfully, he warns Ritu that she too could be in danger, as Maya might be seeking revenge, knowing about their secret affair. In a parallel thread, Ajay's sister wakes from a terrifying nightmare of Maya attacking her. She hastily dials Ajay, recounting her frightening dream. Ajay, already suspecting Maya's resurrection, warns his sister to stay alert, hinting that her nightmare might actually be a precursor of danger. Their conversation abruptly ends when Jairaj re-enters the room and inquires about the call. Ajay quickly explains he was talking to his sister, but skeptical, Jairaj confiscates Ajay's phone for further investigation before locking him in the office. As the plot thickens, a lab report arrives pertaining to the drug found in Ajay's possession. The report confirms the drug's lethal potential to induce heart attacks. This evidence lends evidence to Jairaj's suspicions, affirming his theory about Maya's death. Pawan, who initially doubted Jairaj's suspicions, offers his apologies for his earlier skepticism. Plagued by his guilty conscience, Ajay experiences a nightmare. In it, his deceased wife attempts to serve him the same lethal wine that he had used to take her life. The dream leaves him gasping for breath, as if he too had ingested the toxic substance. Stirring from his frightful nightmare, he notices the previously locked door is now mysteriously open. Intrigued, he walks down to the morgue. In the spooky silence of the morgue, he hears the faint ringing of a phone. It seems to be coming from a body bag labeled Tony D. Costa. Puzzled, he checks the incoming call and is shocked to find Maya's name flashing on the screen. He answers the call and finds himself speaking to a waitress from a nightclub he and Maya used to frequent. The waitress tells him that Maya has left her phone behind and a man named Tony has promised to collect it. Ajay racks his brain trying to remember who this Tony might be. He vaguely recalls a man named Tony who Maya had once introduced as a lawyer helping her with some adjustments in their martial asset division. But Maya had later claimed it was a joke and Tony was actually her therapist. Concerned, Ajay quickly calls Ritu and asks her to dig up information on this mysterious Tony, suspecting he might be aiding Maya. Suddenly, Pawan appears. Discovering Ajay outside his locked office, he escorts Ajay back to Jairaj, who is surprised to see him free. Jairaj initiates a formal interrogation confronting Ajay about Maya's murder. He presents all the evidence pointing towards Ajay, theorizing that Ajay's motive for killing his wife was rooted in her wealth. Jairaj then unveils a contract Maya was working on, a document stating that in the event of a divorce, Ajay would be entitled to none of her assets. Jairaj further reveals that Maya had hired a private investigator named Tony DaCosta to look into Ajay's hidden affairs. The name Tony triggers a realization in Ajay. This must be the dead man in the morgue. He then leads Jairaj to the morgue to show him Tony's body, but to his shock and dismay, there's nobody bearing the name Tony there. Casting further doubts on Ajay's credibility, Ajay retreats to the solitude of the bathroom where he receives a startling phone call from Ritu on the phone he found in the body bag. She informs him that she's received incriminating photos of him and Rita from Tony. She sends Ajay these pictures and shares that Tony has also managed to bug their phone. This has allowed him to record their sinister plan to murder Maya. Now convinced that Maya's alive and toying with them, as she seemingly knew everything from the start, Ajay urges Ritu to flee the house and meet him at a secure location. However, before their connection breaks, he hears Ritu scream, which leads him to believe she's in imminent danger. Frantically, he attempts to leave, which results in a heated altercation with Jairaj. When Ajay tries to attack Jairaj, Jairaj strikes back, knocking him unconscious with a swift punch. Once the situation cools down, Jairaj starts recording Ajay's interrogation on his phone, where Ajay confesses to everything. He opens up about Ritu, who he met when she attended one of his lectures, and how they quickly fell in love. It's revealed that Ajay killed his wife in order to be with Ritu, all the while planning to secure Maya's fortunes for themselves. He further asserts to Jairaj that Maya is still alive, explaining that the drug he used can sometimes only slow the heart, and when its effects wear off, the body can return to normal. He insists that Maya is now targeting Ritu, but Jairaj is skeptical of this part of Ajay's story. Ajay attempts to convince him by describing Maya's affection for mind games, but Jairaj remains unconvinced. At this point, Jairaj receives a call from Pawan, who has been searching Ajay and Maya's home. He reports that he's found detailed plans of the morgue and a possible escape route, as well as a pair of sports shoes that match footprints found at the morgue. He also mentions that he has found the missing CCTV footage from the facility and promptly sends it over to Jairaj. Armed with this new evidence, Jairaj confronts Ajay, demanding to know the whereabouts of Maya's body. But Ajay sticks to his story, insisting that Maya's framing him with Tony's assistance. Jairaj challenges him, stating that if he can prove Maya's still alive, he will let him go. Then Jairaj receives a phone call with news that the police have found a dead body. He tells Ajay they've discovered a female body and they suspect it to be Ritu's. As the first light of dawn breaks, the police and Ajay travel to a remote part of the forest where the body was located. Upon arrival, they learn that the body is in fact Maya's. Adding to the mystery, Pawan informs Jairaj that there's no person named Ritu at the address Ajay provided, and the locals have no knowledge of her either. Jairaj concludes that Ajay crafted a fabricated story to kill his wife and acquire her wealth. The police then transport his body back to the morgue, and Pawan heads back to the station. In the meantime, Jairaj arrests Ajay for Maya's murder. However, Ajay manages to escape from Jairaj, but before he gets far, he suddenly experiences severe chest pain and collapses. Jairaj catches up and reminds him that his 8 hours are finally up. The movie takes a dramatic turn as the most significant plot twist comes to light. Jairaj, in fact, is the real mastermind pulling the strings behind all the chaos. Through a flashback, we see the one night while Jairaj, his wife, and his daughter were traveling in a car. A drunk Maya, driving with Ajay, accidentally pushes Jairaj's car to the edge of a cliff. Jairaj manages to pull his daughter out, but his wife is trapped. As he attempts to find help, Ajay now is at the wheel of Maya's car, deliberately ramming into Jairaj's vehicle, sending it over the cliff edge along with his wife. Jairaj's daughter, Isha, who we now learn is actually Ritu, later recognizes Ajay at her university and conspires with her father to ruin Ajay and Maya's lives in revenge. Jairaj confesses to Ajay that it was he who stole Maya's body, planted the drug bottle in the box, placed the speaker in the bathroom, and put the phone in the body bag that Ajay found. With Ajay's recorded confession on his phone, he can now close the case. However, simply sending Ajay to jail doesn't satisfy Jairaj's desire for vengeance. His plan for revenge includes Ajay's death. So during the previous night when Ajay visited Ritu, she served him a drink poisoned with the same drug that Ajay used to kill his wife. The movie ends with Ajay passing away due to a heart attack, while Jairaj watches, satisfied that his wife's death has been avenged. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for more videos, and we'll see you in the next one.